Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like this video, please take a moment to leave a comment. Thank you. Hello, the knife I'm going to talk about today is the office knife. I've only got one, so this video is not going to go on for very long. But before I start talking about the office knife, I'm going to talk about its cousin, the desk knife. I mentioned this knife in another video where I was talking about 5 different knives with white smooth bone handles. Now this is a copy of the case desk knife. This is a no-name copy made in Pakistan using 440 stainless steel. I got it for $12. I looked online. They're going for about $15 now. Comes with a nice thick leather sheath. I believe Elk Ridge also makes them, so you might find some that are marked Elk Ridge. It's almost an exact copy of the desk knife by Case, and I do not have a Case one to show you because I'm not going to spend $120 or more for what is basically a glorified letter opener. The Case one comes with 154 cm steel, has a wonderful, all sorts of different handle materials. Some of them with exotic materials and stuff go into the $200 and $300 range. Again, I can't see spending that kind of money to open an envelope. I just can't. I'm not the 6 and 7 figure kind of office guy. I'm a little bit lower on the food chain kind of office guy. In any case, thought I'd mention that to you, and also talk a little bit about the history of the Case knife, because I thought that this was an old pattern, but actually the more I'm looking into it, the more I'm beginning to realize that this pattern has not been around for very long at all. I think Case actually developed the knife probably within the last 10 or 15 years, so it is definitely really a modern style a letter opener with a very sharp blade, especially if you get it from Case. This one, like I said, 440 stainless steel. It'll definitely open an envelope. The Case one, 154 cm, I think it'll open up a lot of envelopes for many generations to come, not just for a few years or a few days. But in any case, this is the one I can afford. Let's move on to the knife I actually want to talk about, which is the office knife. Now, unlike the desk knife by Case, the office knife has probably been around for about 100 years or so, and they typically look like so. They're bolsterless, exposed rivets, and they often have a really nice fancy showing of office knife on the front, and they are basically a 2-bladed equal-end pen knife, with one blade being a pen blade. This one is by Camillus. You can see there, I think it dates from the probably from the 1960s, 1970s, and you have a pen blade. And then the secondary blade, at first glance, looks like what most people call a spay blade. And you're wondering, why in the world would you put a spay blade on an office knife? And that's because on an office knife, this is not called a spay blade, but it is called an eraser blade. And you're asking, eraser blade? Yeah, that's what I asked too, but yeah, that's exactly what it's for. It's for erasing things on a sheet of paper, specifically erasing ink from a sheet of paper. And so let's see how the eraser blade actually works. So we can write down here, and notice, Midnight Manager with an ink pen. ERAZERBLADE. Told you I was left-handed. Eraser blade. Wait, I spelled that wrong. Shouldn't be a Z, that should be an S. I've got to erase that. So you take your little blade here, and I'm going to screw this up because I'm online, and you basically gently rub across the ink. Works better if the ink is a little dry or if it's put on by one of those electric typewriters, because the ink on those is actually a piece of plastic that is just stuck to the paper and it comes off much easier. But this is basically you're taking off the layer of paper that has the ink on it. And so you just keep scraping gently. And secretaries back in the 60s and 50s and 40s and such were probably much better at doing this than I am in today's life. But then you get it down to where you need to get down to, and you fix it. So now, eraser blade. And so there you have it. It's no longer a spade blade on the office knife, it is an eraser blade. And that's what it's for. The other blade, you can use it for sharpening your pencils or anything else. So, but that's what, and any other little chore you have, like, for instance, opening envelopes and such. Now, the reason I only have one office knife is because I'm not going to buy them unless they're in really good shape. And this one is close to near mint. It's by Camillus. Another reason I bought it, because I buy a lot of stuff by Camillus. I just love the Camillus brand. But you can see even on here, you can see a little spotting on the top of the blade here where it was just sitting there. But otherwise, the handles are mint, and they are a very solid yellow composition Delrin material. Spade blade is just perfect. And I'm always looking for more office knives, but most of them, man, were they used and were they abused. So most of the ones you see out there have been heavily used. This one, like I said, is from the 60s and 70s probably, but they have been around since the early 1900s. So you can find some very old ones, and just about every knife company out there made an office knife at some time. As I find ones that are in good shape, I pick them up, but so far the only one that I have found that is in really good shape is this one, and I picked this one up probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Now, what I would love to see is some company produce the desk knife and the office knife as a combination set, so you could actually go and buy both of them. Hopefully a decent company too. That's why I've sent word out to like Rough Rider. I think they would make a great one, especially if they were to do both in white smooth bone and have similar writing on the desk knife saying desk knife, and then this one still saying office knife. That would look really cool. It would also be nice if Case would do it in their True Sharp Steel line and get it at a price that people could afford. Both knives were under $100, as a set. That would be fantastic. I think a lot of people would pick it up. But there you have it, the office knife, a simple equal end pen knife with, instead of a secondary pen blade, an eraser blade. And the eraser blade really did work. So what about the rest of you urban commandos out there? Would you be interested in seeing a setup of a desk knife and an office knife in a combination put up by somebody? It'd be interesting to have a sheet that would hold them both too. That'd be kind of cool. It really does add a little touch of class to your desk, whether it be your desk at home or your desk at your office, or maybe your office desk is at your home. But you've got this wonderful Warncliffe blade on your letter opener, and then you got the two blades here on your equal end pen knife. The wonderful writing on there. Could you imagine if you had similar writing on there that said desk knife? And could you imagine if they were both in the same type of material? And it's one of the few knives where I don't mind the spade blade, because it's no longer a spade blade, it's an eraser blade. In any case, two knives designed for city slickers and for people who are actually working in the urban world. And it's kind of cool that you don't see many knives that are that were distinctly made for the office worker, but both of these knives were made for office workers, and that's kind of cool. In any case, let you go. That's my thoughts on the desk knife and the office knife, and hopefully somebody sometime will come up with a matching pair of those and offer them up at a reasonable price of, say, under $50 if they're made in China, and under $100 for both of them if they're made in the United States. I don't know, it'd be pretty cool to me. Love to hear what you guys think. Okay, just real quickly on the specifications of these two knives. The desk knife is approximately 6¼ inches long, or 157 millimeters, and it has a blade that is 2 7/8 inches long, or 72 millimeters, and a handle that is 3 3/8 inch, or 85 millimeters. As for the Camillus Office Knife, the closed length of that knife is 3 5/16 inch, or 85 millimeters. The Spear Master Blade is 1 13/16 inches long, or 47 millimeters, and the Racer Blade is 1 11/16 inches long, or 44 millimeters. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Knife Chats, and if you did, please like and share it with your friends. Comments are always welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode of Knife Chats is up online. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon.